Alright, so I brought Brianna to Race Sailboats with us for the first time, and this was her first actual sailing racing experience, and she actually did a freaking great job. I'm just looking at all the clips right now, and I'm pretty impressed just after the fact, looking at all the little details that she was getting right. Here she goes, she calls for the tack. Call for the tack. Yep. Coming back here, I take the line, she goes for the pole, gets it untangled quickly, puts it up, realizes she makes a mistake, so she puts it up again after she fixes the mistake. Can't find the line, she reaches around the shrouds, gets the line, and that's exactly how I do it actually. And then she hoists the sail. Pull forward, hoist again, realizes the pole's coming back again, puts the pole again forward. Awesome job, honestly. So I sat her down to talk about it, and it's actually pretty funny.
Wow, look at an interview.
It's very awkward.
It's very awkward. I had to convince Bill to like, hey, let me bring my girlfriend onto the boat, and he said, yeah, obviously. I mean, he's not gonna tell me no, but like, let's start off with like the basic questions of like, what did you like, and what did you not like?
Oh gosh. So first off, I'm like a pretty technical person. Like I'm pretty logical. So I did like the sense of sailing is a very technical sport.
More pressure right here. Big puff here in 4. Ease the jib an inch. Feel a little overpowered still. 92, so our heading for a bit lower than the windward boats right now. We're higher and faster than the windward boats right now. We're down about 10 degrees. Right now we're up 7. Light pressure for about 10 seconds.
Anything. How are you seeing the pressure?
Because I do this every day.
I think I can get really used to how the logic plays out. So I actually had a great time really learning something new and something very technical. I like those things. I think no matter how difficult something is, I think that I really do like the technical aspect of sailing.
Okay.
What
you did?
What I didn't like, I didn't like getting so many bruises.
Did you get hit in the face?
Yeah, I
Oh God, with the pole?
did. Yeah.
Oh God. Okay. No, you can lose an eye or a tooth.
You're not like the only person. Like all the girls I've seen in college, like get destroyed on their legs.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like the bruises were definitely like to the point where they're
So
like
that's
red and
I mean,
all different crazy colors.
That's
I look like
definitely
a
the
abused
worst.
patient.
That's probably the worst part for sure for you. Like I can definitely see that.
Yeah, and then like other aspects, I mean, besides the bruising is, you know, you just have to take a lot of direction. So like, not that that's the hardest thing I ever had to do. I like to learn. I like to get critiqued. After a point though, like you keep getting critiqued and critiqued and.
Get my twing on here. Twing on, come on. Trim. Full trim. No. Okay, like, look what happens when I pull this. All of this sheet is loose. That's what's going on. You need to keep this side tight. And it's still not tight. Bree, the halyard. You have to cleat the halyard. All right, good job, Bree, good job.
People who know more than you are definitely going to tell you, hey, like do this a little better or like change something about what you were doing, which is okay. Just there's a point where it's like, okay, I want to be left alone for 2 seconds.
Yeah, and that's kind of like the hard part about being like a new sailor, I'd say. It's because one of the things people don't really realize is that you're out there for hours. Like we got out there like at 9:30 and we got back at like 4 p.m.
Yeah,
You're
that was a really long day.
Yeah,
that's the longest I think I've been on a boat.
That's a normal thing for us. So it's like if you're getting yelled at or you're getting critiqued and stuff like that for that long, on top of getting bruised, on top of just all the other crazy stuff.
Yeah, you're getting beat up and you're learning and you're constantly learning. You have to keep thinking and
it's
you're
not the
critiqued.
greatest. It's we're trying to make sailing sound terrible here.
So fun.
But yeah, so that I mean that's part of the reality of it though. It's part of the game.
I think a lot of people before they get into the sport would say, oh, I didn't realize how technical it was, how much you had to think about But like me going into this, I already knew, hey, this is extremely technical. There's a lot of things to think about, and when you're actually on the boat, like there's a little like there's tons of tiny details that you have to get right, or else you're pretty much like gonna be behind. This is kind of like any sport, but the less mistakes you make, the better you're gonna do. So you start making little mistakes here and there, and then eventually you're behind and you can't catch up. So I've noticed that.
Yeah, that's kind of how we define the sport. It's like the less mistake. Everyone's going to make a ton of mistakes. Whoever makes the least amount of mistakes is going to do the best. That's essentially how sailing works, and that's how you win. When we're going upwind, there's like all these random moments where like the boats are starting to cross as we're tacking upwind, and you were just like,
okay, that wasn't.
You would just watch people tacking on top of each other, and you'd be like, oh my god, they're about to crash.
No, like, I didn't think they were gonna crash. Like I know how easy it is when you're upwind to like make a quick tack. There was points where people did actually crash into each other, and then I was like, oh my gosh, they crashed into each other. Like, I remember Bill getting kind of mad, but.
Don't move. Hold on, don't hold it.
Your boat was like this when you went around the mark. We had an overlap.
Well, I mean,
maybe I imagined.
No. They didn't do that. That was just a penalty. Like they were mad.
Okay.
They were mad because they thought that they had the right to like come in, but like we shut them out, and then they were yelling at us. Bill yelled back at them. Just general Mark.
So no
Random
crash, just
nonsense.
mad.
People mad at each other. That's basically what it is. It's just people getting beat up and people getting mad at each other.
Okay.
No, the crash that we did have. Kind of my fault because I was calling the tactics and I told us to tack. We were all the boats were on starboard tack. We had a guy that was kind of behind us a little bit. I called to tack. I thought we had plenty of room. We did have plenty of room, but then there was a big wind shift, like one of these 20-degree lake wind shifts.
It's very like shifty. It's a lake. We're on a lake.
So the guy got like this big lift. Maybe he didn't have enough experience or whatever. And so he like pointed straight up into the wind as soon as we tacked. And essentially that was like enough of a boost going straight upwind. And we crashed into us being on port tack. So that was that.
Like I knew that was definitely something that could happen.
Yeah.
Although I was like more aware of it after we crashed the one time, I was like, oh, now I gotta keep track of where boats are.
Yeah. What would you have preferred to do different?
Oh wow. I think that maybe the night before I should have done some more review of the lines, or maybe even before we started even practicing, just did a little bit more review of what I was supposed to do.
Yeah.
I think that
That's kind of.
I think I missed that a little bit. I think I should. I think that it would have helped me a lot if I would have been refamiliarized with the lines. Like sitting on all of them, that's why. And at least a logical sense of like, hey, that this is what you have to do when you're jibing. This is what you have to do when, like, I think that there was like little things that I had missed and forgotten from like previous times that we practiced.
So in terms of like what could be improved, like when you're bringing someone new to the sport, I think it's just like it pays off so much to practice beforehand. And like new sailors, like it always seems that they're kind of reluctant to put in that extra like, oh, let's go out and practice like a couple times before the regatta.
Yeah.
But like but then they go to the actual regatta and then they don't have as good of a time because they
can't do as much as like if they would have just
like you're getting told what to do the whole time, or you're getting more injured because like you don't know the footwork and you don't know where to stand, and it's like of course you don't, like you didn't have the time on the boat. It's like those are things that you get out of experience. It's not your fault, you know. But I feel like a lot of people try to bring someone new to the sport. Like not even in this situation, just like other boats, like they'll bring in a new crew first time racing, and then they just throw them into a, even if it's a beginner regatta, like, I mean, I consider this one a relatively low level regatta. It's like for some people, like it might not be an enjoyable experience, and then they don't want to come back because of all these things. And it's like you really having the time on the water, even if it's just like 1 hour,
I think
one
more
day.
of like, I think if someone's getting into this originally, like they need to have like practice days where it's not all about the competition, just about learning things and kind of doing it at like a really slow pace and not like kind of throwing too much at someone right at the beginning. I think that would definitely help, because of course when there's two very experienced people on the boat and you're very new, you're like, when you're in a big race or like you're in a regatta, like those people, regardless of like how little the race is or how non-competitive the race is, they're gonna get really competitive. And I noticed that like right off the bat, like they both got super competitive, and there'd be points where I'm like getting yelled at to do different things, and I'm like, I have no idea what I'm doing. So it was kind of funny in that sense. Like I look back on it and think it's funny, but like, I mean, when it was happening, it was very stressful. And I was
I get that. No, and it's funny because like I'm conscious of that too, but like I don't know what else to do because I'm still doing my job, and if I don't do my job, like I can't sit there and try to talk you through what you're doing, because if I don't do what I'm doing, it's going to be even worse.
Because then we're not going to do anything.
So like I gotta like try to say like, no, the green line, no, whatever. It's like,
and then you might know like, hey, I need to pull up this line, I need to go put the pole on, I need to like put, you know, like the end of the pole onto the, what is it, the spinnaker halyard?
The spinnaker sheet.
The spinnaker sheet, and then you have to put the pole, and then you have to put the pole up. And then there's just like little tiny things like, oh, logically I know what to do, but sometimes your reaction time and like physically being able to do it isn't going to be as fast as what your mind thinks you're going to do. And I realized that afterwards, like especially in the moment where it's like, Bill's like, oh, go ahead, hurry up, jive. And then my mind is like, I know exactly what to do. And then my body goes, and just freezes, like I don't do anything. And then I didn't realize that I didn't do anything until after the fact that I was supposed to do something. Which I thought was like really funny.
No, but I guess that kind of wraps it up. So basically the number one thing is just like, if you're gonna take someone new and introduce them into sailing, it pays off way more, and they're gonna enjoy the experience like 1,000 times more if you actually practice beforehand. Even if it's just like 2 different days, like an hour each day, that's gold right there. So
chill practice.
Chill practice.
Down, then we're gonna lump on
27.
Hard. Keep going.
Right next to the curve.
Up, Bill.
14, 13, 12, go.
Okay, now ease right here. Go. Get full speed here.
5.
Go as high as you can here, Bill. As high as you can.
Okay, fine. Next time she definitely needs to learn how to do roll tacks.